Good afternoon, and boy, do we have a cracker for you today. It's Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Etihad, and this really could be a big key in the title decider this season. Should Arsenal win tonight, they'll go back to the top of the table, and as Liverpool, who are currently beating Brighton by three goals to one. Also, for Manchester City, it will put them 4 points behind Arsenal, and quite possibly put them out of the title race at that point, seeing as though we are at the end of March, beginning of April. For Manchester City, well, they're making a couple of changes. Kevin De Bruyne and Manuel Akanji are in for the captain, Kyle Walker, and Jeremy Doku. Walker unable to complete a fitness test this week, so he will not figure for Manchester City at all today. For Arsenal, just one change for them. Leandro Trossard drops to the bench, and in comes Gabriel Jesus. We've got a star-studded lineup for you today. In terms of guests, I've got alongside me here Mike Harneman, which we're going to speak to in a moment, and again at half-time. And I have a co-com with me today in Luke Turton. So, first of all, to you, Mike, how big of a game is this for Arsenal? Can you afford to draw, or do you really need to be thinking about going out and winning this match?
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone, and happy Easter as well to everyone that's tuning in. So regarding this game, on the back of Liverpool winning, their game's been confirmed. They have won their game this afternoon. Now that has been just come through a short while ago, and I think that we've got to look to win this game. It's going to be very difficult against a very strong Manchester City side, but if we can win, then we've really sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons and gone back to the top if we're able to get the 3 points today. But on the back of that Liverpool result, I think we have to win, to be honest.
Do you feel that, given the fact that these three teams, Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool, dropped so few points, that do you actually think that this, should Manchester City lose today, that they're effectively out of the title race?
It's hard to call because obviously there's still quite a lot of football to be played. Arsenal ourselves, we've got some tricky games. We've got to play Manchester United, we've got to play Tottenham, we've got to play Aston Villa. So there's points that could potentially be dropped. So I don't think that if either side loses this game, they're out of the title race. No.
All right. Well, can I get a prediction from you today?
Oh well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna. I've looked at the two lineups, I've looked at the benches, and I can see nothing but goals. So, saying that is probably going to end 0-0, but hopefully not. I think I've got to back Arsenal. I've got to back my own team. So I'm going to go in Man City 2, Arsenal 3.
All right. Well, then that definitely is a lot of goals, and we certainly hope we get to see that. And you, the listener, the neutral, we hope that you enjoy this game coming up today. Before I give you the starting lineups, I just want to bring in my co-com, Luke Turton. Luke, for yourself, I'm going to ask you pretty much the same questions. How big of a game is this for Arsenal today?
Massive. They can literally go top on goal difference today if they win. So I think keeping tabs on Liverpool is definitely crucial for them. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty big game for Arsenal today.
And again, as I asked Mike, do you think if Arsenal win today that City are out of the title race given the limited number of points that Liverpool and Arsenal drop?
No, I don't think so. They're only going to be three or 4 points behind them. They can still turn it on if Arsenal and Liverpool do slip up. I know it's not been a regular thing, but football doesn't work in regularities and how things have gone already. So, no, I still think it's all to play for between the three sides.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Mike. We'll get your opinions on the game at half-time. The players are in the tunnel right now, and right now the Arsenal players very much focused on what's ahead of them today. A couple of handshakes in the tunnel. We might as well take a look at the starting lineups. And let's begin with Manchester City. They start with number 18, Stefan Ortega in goal. Number 24, Josko Gvardiol. Number 6, Nathan Ake. Number 3, Ruben Diaz. And number 25, Manuel Akanji. Just in front of the defence is number 16, Rodri. Very attacking midfield line is number 47, Phil Foden. Number 8, Mateo Kovacic. Number 17, Kevin De Bruyne. He wears the captain's armband today. behind the very dangerous number 9, Erling Haaland. For Arsenal, well, Gabriel Martinelli just hasn't quite made the lineup today. He's on the bench, but Arsenal line up as follows. Number 1, David Raya in goal. Number 15, Jakub Kiwior. Number 6, Gabriel. Number 2, William Saliba. And number 4, Ben White. Number 41, the impressive Declan Rice. Number 20, Jorginho. Number 8, the ever-familiar Martin Odegaard, who's the captain. And the front three are Gabriel Jesus, wearing number 9. Number 29, Kai Havertz. And shaking off an injury in international duty is number 7, Bukayo Saka. The substitutes for Manchester City is Scott Carson, the substitute goalkeeper, John Stones, Rico Lewis, Jack Grealish, Sergio Gomez, Mateus Nunes, Oscar Bob, Jeremy Doku, and Julian Alvarez. For Arsenal, well, they have Aaron Ramsdale deputising in goal, deputising as the substitute goalkeeper, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Alexander Zinchenko, Thomas Partey on his way back from injury, Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Gabriel Martinelli, who may well figure today, Eddie Nketiah, and Leandro Trossard. Our referee today is Anthony Taylor, and he is from Wythenshawe, Greater Manchester. He is 45 years of age. He's a Premier League and FIFA official. Anthony Taylor was promoted to the Select Group 1 referees at the start of the 2010-2011 season. Taylor became Taylor has refereed 2 games involving City this season and 2 involving Arsenal. He'll be joined on the lines by Gary Beswick and Adam Nunn. Tom Bramall is in 4th official, and let's hope we don't need it given what we've seen this weekend. Jared Gillett and Darren Cann are in Stockley Park for VAR. For the record between these two teams, they've met each other 110 times. Arsenal have won 100 of those meetings. Manchester City have won 65, and there's been 45 draws. The first meeting was on November the 11th, 1893, in League Division 2 at the Manor Ground in Plumstead, where Woolwich Arsenal beat the then Ardwick by 1-0. Some of the news events for 1893, in case you're interested. On January the 3rd, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's final opera, Iolanta, is first performed outside of Russia in Hamburg, Germany. And on February the 1st, Thomas Edison completes the world's first movie studio at Western Orange, New Jersey. Give you some idea of the task facing Arsenal today. They haven't beaten City away since January the 18th, 2003, where they won 2-0. Luke, can I get a prediction from you today?
Well, I'm going to balance out Mike's heavily scoring prediction I'm going to say a 1-1. Clear for the fact that I wanted to have some goals, just don't want to curse it completely by going totally gung-ho when we all know that's not usually the case in these built-up games.
All right. Well, looking at the two lineups, and you can look at the lineups and you just see spark plugs all over that Manchester City team, but also on the bench as well. The firepower that both teams have got on the bench is pretty impressive.
Oh, absolutely. You've got De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Foden behind, obviously Haaland. And on the bench, there's obviously Doku, Grealish and Alvarez. And Arsenal, Saka, Jesus and Havertz basically playing the front three. And you've got Martinelli, Trossard and Nketiah on the bench. So there's heavy amounts of quality there. They've just got to turn it on.
Well, we are about to get the game underway. Arsenal in red and white jerseys are getting the game underway. White shorts, white socks, attacking the goal to our left at the Etihad. Manchester City in their famous blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks as the game is underway, and it's back to David Raya. David Raya launches the ball downfield. It's just headed on there by Ruben Diaz. Winning the ball back is Jorginho, under pressure there from De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. The ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Arsenal. And it's going to be taken by Jakub Kiwior down the left-hand side, about 10 yards inside the Arsenal half of the field. And it's thrown back into his own half to Gabriel. Gabriel just drops the ball there back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. And David Raya clears the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho drops the ball there to Saliba. Saliba just gives the ball back to Gabriel, and he clears the ball long. It's won by Phil Foden. And knocked back there by the number 8, Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic gets dropped back to Nathan Ake. And now to Ruben Diaz. Diaz drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, Stefan Ortega, still deputising for Ederson, who is still injured at the moment. It's back with Ortega again. Clears the ball downfield, attempting to be flicked on that time by Bernardo Silva, but it's won back there by William Saliba, and Jacob Kiwior down the left-hand side just picks the ball up now. And here's Kai Havertz, middle of the park. It's sprayed over looking for Bukayo Saka there by Odegaard, but comfortably intercepted by Gvardiol. It's dropped back to Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake. We'll get Luke's early thoughts in a moment, but we can already see Arsenal press early on. It's now with played forward there to Kevin De Bruyne. And here's Phil Foden now. Foden sets off Haaland on the way. He's down the left-hand side. It's Haaland. He's got some space in front of him. Oh, he beats William Saliba there and goes down. There's no appeals, but it's offside anyway. But just for a moment there, I just wondered whether that tackle was a little late. Let's just take a look at it again. It's offside anyway. De Bruyne, Haaland just went a yard too early that time. But Luke, early pressure by Arsenal as well, but they looks like they could be counted as well by City.
Yeah, they were trying to pen Man City in, I think, from the start, trying to pressurise that back line, which we know teams can get at. But again, I think Arsenal playing that high line, which means they can get the ball over the top towards Haaland and really target Saliba and Gabriel.
Well, the ball is played down the right-hand side now to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's got some space in front of him. Oh, he just gets away from Kiwior there to Silva, and he's brought down by Jesus. Anthony Taylor said yes, and it's a pretty dangerous position, this free kick. Right on the corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. City want something more than just a free kick. As they surround the referee, it's got nothing to do with any of these other players, and they would do well just to back off. But it was definitely a foul, Luke.
Yeah, it's definitely a foul. I don't think there's much more in it than a foul. It's early on in the game. You're not going to really get a card for that. So they're just whinging because they're modern-day footballers at the end of the day.
Well, it's a corner of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Phil Foden is standing over this, along with Kevin De Bruyne, and De Bruyne is just taking a look at what options he's got in the middle. It looks like he may swing this one in. Foden also pretty capable from this position. They're both standing over it, and the referee Anthony Taylor is just organising things. There's just one man in the wall there, which is Martin Odegaard. Gabriel Jesus in between the middle and the pack that is inside the penalty area, all surrounding the penalty spot. It's a very congested in there. The cross comes in from De Bruyne towards the back post and headed out there well by Ben White, because ghosting in at the back post was Erling Haaland waiting to get on the end of that. Good work by Ben White that time. It was swung in towards the back post, and Ben White just got on the end of that and headed it behind for a corner. And Arsenal on the back foot at the moment as City attempt to come forward. You can see that they're attacking their own supporters. The Arsenal supporters penned in to that corner behind the goal, and it's swung in now to the 6-yard box, and Jesus just heads the ball out. He only manages to head the ball as far as Gvardiol. Gvardiol in the penalty area now gets a cross in, and it's headed out again by Ben White, only as far as Phil Foden. Foden drops the ball back, and it's now with Diaz. Diaz just trying to turn away from Martin Odegaard. He drops the ball back to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic plays the ball over and across to Gvardiol, but it's played forward by Kovacic, looking for Erling Haaland. Sets off Phil Foden on the way, and now Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne. Oh, it's a poor ball by De Bruyne, who only finds Declan Rice. And now Arsenal can try to break out. It's Ben White. Tries to clear the ball forward, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. So Manchester City now sort of penning Arsenal in their own half, Luke.
Yeah, I think that's what City have got to do, to be fair. Arsenal got to do, to be fair, pen City in, because they're not great when they're under pressure.
Well, Stefan Ortega, the German goalkeeper, never really got a looking on the German team. I know at the moment the German team currently has goalkeepers all over 30, so maybe an option for him in the near future. We'll wait and see. Ortega now clears the ball downfield, and it's just tried to be knocked on by Erling Haaland, but Jesus picks it up Saliba picks it up and then goes down under the challenge. A free kick is given and taken quickly. Martin Odegaard plays the ball to Bukayo Saka. Arsenal will want to bring him into the game as much as possible. Here is Odegaard again. And he drops the ball back to Saliba, who gives the ball to Gabriel just over the halfway line. Plays it down the left-hand side to Kyria, who launches the ball forward looking for Jesus. It's just headed out there by Manuel Akanji and goes to Kovacic, who just drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, Stefan Ortega. I'm interested in your opinion as the listeners on where you think this game is going to go today. Please feel free to comment. If you're a City fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, please feel free to comment. We'll read them out. The only caveat we ask is that you please try to keep it nice and clean. And here is Gvardiol. Gvardiol played forward looking for De Bruyne, but that's a wayward ball and it's picked up by Saliba. And here's Declan Rice down the right-hand side now. Rice plays it off to Ben White. Can Ben White get the cross in? There is Jesus. He brings it down with the chest and he gets the shot on goal and it's just wide. Oh, Gabriel Jesus coming close there. He brought it down on the chest. The connection wasn't great, but that is the first clear chance for Arsenal, Luke.
Yeah, they got in down the side. I think the trouble with that shot was it needed to go across the goal instead of towards the near post. There wasn't enough space there. Bit of a concern that Arsenal can get in so easily down City's left-hand side. They might want to stick an extra body over there.
Well, as we look at the Arsenal fans, they've got a banner there for Rocky Roadcastle. Of course, David Roadcastle, 23 years since his passing. What a great player he was for Arsenal, an absolute legend. Was part of that 1989 thrilling Arsenal team that won at Anfield 2-0 to win the title. And the throw-in is now going to be taken by Ben White, just inside the City half of the field. And he drops the ball back there to William Saliba again. Good ball by Saliba, finds Odegaard, and is looking for Saka, but coming across there is Gvardiol to make the challenge and puts the ball out of play. It's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal. They're going to be forced to go back a few yards by Anthony Taylor. And it is going to be taken by Ben White. Ben White there just drops the ball to Declan Rice. And Declan Rice just trying to get away from Kevin De Bruyne. Drops the ball back into his own half of the field. And there's Saliba. Saliba gives the ball back to David Raya. David Raya, well, he's had a good season for Arsenal this season. And his long ball manages to find Declan Rice, but Declan Rice only heads the ball on. Kai Havertz just stopped playing for a moment. The official has given an offside. Kai Havertz finding himself in an offside position. And how effective, Luke, do you think Havertz can be today? He's been in a rich vein of form. He scored for Germany in the recent international break against France. Where do you see him today? He's been playing very well lately. Do you see him as being effective today?
I think it all depends on how much service he gets through the middle, because he's playing down the middle, which I find a bit strange. I'd have probably had Havertz the other side of Jesus. I find it strange that you've got a striker playing wide and a attacking midfielder playing through the middle. But I think if he's scoring goals, then we'll have to see whether he can keep that form going.
Here's Bernardo Silva now, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side to De Bruyne, gets the cross in, but it's plucked out of the air by David Raya with ease, and he releases it off to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard drops it to William Saliba, corner of his own penalty area, right-hand side. William Saliba now, under a bit of pressure there from Silva, but the ball is headed on. And now here's Odegaard. Odegaard almost gives the ball away there. It's won back by Gvardiol, and it's now been given to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, he's got Manuel Akanji overlapping down the right-hand side. Manuel Akanji now has the ball. He dropped it back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva has a bit of space in front of him. He gives the ball to Rodri. And here is Phil Foden. Phil Foden plays it down the left now to Gvardiol. Gvardiol back to Phil Foden. Phil Foden's been so impressive in recent weeks. And here's Rodri again. Back to Foden. City building up slowly. Patient passing. Here is Rodri again. We all know how good he is and how important he is to City. Bernardo Silva tries to play the ball down for Manuel Akanji, but it comes off Jesus and goes out for a throw-in down the right-hand side, corner of the penalty area, level with the penalty area, I should say. The throw-in is going to be taken by Manuel Akanji. Mike in the comments section. almost Jesus scoring on Easter Sunday. That one would be ironic. Good one, Mike. It's now with Ruben Diaz, who gives the ball to Manuel Akanji. He plays it on there to Kovacic. Kovacic holds the ball up and then gives the ball to Rodri. And he plays the ball to Manuel Akanji. Akanji down the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. City building up here, looking to penetrate this Arsenal defence. And we have really the second best offence against the best defence in the league. And this is going to be interesting today. Here is Ruben Diaz. Diaz gives the ball back to Rodri. He's about 35 yards out. Rodri trying to go through 4 Arsenal players, and he wasn't going to get away with that. Ben White won the ball, and he sets off Bukayo Saka on his way. But Bukayo Saka is dispossessed. And there's Phil Foden. He gives the ball to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne just trying to get away from Jesus, but nipping in at the back here is Declan Rice. Declan Rice drops it back to Kiwior, who then goes back to Gabriel and then gives it back to Rice, and then he gives the ball to Kiwior, but Kiwior gives the ball away to Bernardo Silva, and here's Kevin De Bruyne. Well, he tried to feed through Haaland there, but cutting across well was William Saliba, who gets across and clears that ball forward to Jesus. Jesus goes down. Anthony Taylor says no. And here's Nathan Ake. Gives the ball to Rodri again. It's a really patient build-up by Manchester City. They're going to struggle today to get through this Arsenal defence, I think, but they've certainly got the players to do it. Here's Rodri. Diaz plays the ball down the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva pulls the ball back to Diaz. He swings the ball across to the back post, and ever calm as usual, Ben White just chests the ball back to David Raya. Luke, good build-up by Manchester City there.
The build-up from Man City's got to be slow, and because Arsenal have blocked up the space. They've got Jesus and Saka playing very tight in, so everything's compact. The City can't play those balls in behind the full-back and the centre-back. It's really tight, and the midfield is very compact.
No, it's a free kick for the Arsenal, midway inside their own half of the field. And it looks like Ben White is going to take this as we take a look at the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta. Well, they're labelling it as a student against a master, but I would say Arteta is no longer a student. Here is Ben White. Gets the cross in, but Stefan Ortega comes out and claims that. And holds that ball. This saying, Luke, that the master versus the student. I don't really buy into that, because I think Mikel Arteta has done a fantastic job, and I think at the moment he's certainly one of the premier managers in the world.
I think that probably when Arteta first went to Arsenal, that made sense. I think now he's probably done enough to lose the tag of being the apprentice, if you like, to Guardiola. I think they're both on more or less the same level when it comes to top-class management now.
Well, here is Rodri. He drops the ball back to Nathan Ake. And Ake plays the ball across to Kovacic. Kovacic plays it down the left-hand side to Gvardiol. Breaking forward for Manchester City. Gvardiol, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. He tries to get the cross in, but that is a good block by Bukayo Saka. And we are going to get our first corner of the game, and it's come to Manchester City. Good defending by the attacking forward there, Luke.
That's important, because Guardiola's going to come raining forward, and if Ben White's playing more compact to stop the offensive players from City getting into the box, then Saka's going to have to follow Guardiola back, and he's got the pace to do it, so I think that's going to be very, very crucial in this game.
Corner swung in back to Bruyne, and it's flicked on, and it came off Nathan Ake, I think, was the last touch, but it was a comfortable save in the end by David Raya, and this is the closest City have come. Yes, it came off Ake. He just didn't get his full head behind it, because had he got the full power behind that, Luke, I think we'd have been looking at 1-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, I think Gabriel's presence there definitely made an impact on Ake getting a full connection on it, because it all happened so fast, and Raya just had the quick reaction to pick up the ball.
It was a long ball played that time, but it went over the top of Ben White and out of play. It's going to be a throw-in for Manchester City. You're listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for the season, JB Sports, Focus on Football, and Storm FM. And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Commentary Hub. Now, Phil Foden has just played a poor pass back to Gvardiol, and instead goes behind for a corner to Arsenal. So Arsenal being granted their first corner of the game by way of a gift of Phil Foden. And going over to take it on that right-hand side will no doubt be Bukayo Saka. He's going to swing the ball in here now. And the Stefan Ortega, Arsenal very typically will move into the 6-yard box now with Havertz. It comes in, and Ortega claims it well. Well, he gets up very well, the keeper there, because right behind him is Kai Havertz and Gabriel. And he releases it quickly to set off Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side. He pulls it into the middle to Rodri, and he gets it back there off Rodri, does Bernardo Silva, and he gives it back to the number 16, Rodri. And here's Kovacic now inside the centre circle, just inside Arsenal's half of the field. City, as usual, dominating possession, 65%. Here's Diaz. Ruben Diaz pulls the ball back there to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva inside the centre circle, just inside the Arsenal half of the field. He gives the ball back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz will give the ball to Manuel Akanji down the right-hand side. Coming to meet him is Kiwior. He drops it back there to Diaz. Diaz now gives it to Rodri. Rodri forward down the left-hand side to Gvardiol. Gvardiol crosses it, and there's Haaland looking for it. Jesus heads it out, but only as far as Akanji. Down the right, he gives it to Bernardo Silva. Corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Pulled into the middle there to Rodri. Rodri cross to Kovacic, and he gives the ball to De Bruyne. As once again, this patient, slow build-up by Manchester City as they try to break Arsenal down. Ruben Diaz back to Rodri, edge of the area. Rodri just decides to weigh out on the shot and gives it to Kovacic instead. Kovacic now gives the ball to Ruben Diaz. Diaz down the right-hand side to Manuel Akanji. Akanji drops the ball back to Bernardo Silva. Corner of the penalty area, right-hand side again. He's got Akanji alongside him. He gives the ball to Akanji, who drops it to Diaz. Diaz back to Akanji. Akanji just loses possession for a moment, and that allowed Jesus to nip in and make the tackle. It's going to be a throw into City. It's taken quickly by Bernardo Silva, and he drops it to Ruben Diaz, and back to Rodri. Rodri gives the ball to Foden. Foden drops it back to Rodri, and this is very typical that we see of Manchester City in almost every game that they play. Is Bernardo Silva down to Akanji. It's again Silva just flips the ball forward looking for Foden, and it just now goes all the way back into the City half of the field to Nathan Ake, who releases it again to Rodri. Here's Bernardo Silva back to Diaz, and Bernardo Silva is fouled, and sometimes that's what happens. It brings about frustration from the opposition team, and a foul is committed there, and it's going to be a free kick, and that free kick is taken quickly, and it's launched down to the left-hand side here to Gvardiol, down the left flank. He drops the ball back there to Kovacic, and he gives the ball to Nathan Ake. And this build-up by City, Luke, it's just so slow and patient, yet so methodical, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this will suit City more than Arsenal because they're moving the ball around and not using too much energy. I think there could be more movement off the ball if they wanted to. They could go up the gears. But I think they're just happy to just work Arsenal from side to side. Arsenal will be using all their energy up, and then they'll be able to pounce later on in the game. It's good tactics. Arsenal think they're keeping their shape and keeping them at bay, but Man City can go up a couple of gears from this currently.
Well, it's just one back off a Akanji from Gabriel Jesus, and he clears the ball, but it's only succeeds in giving the ball back to City, really. And dispossessed there is Kovacic, and now Arsenal can come forward on the break with Bukayo Saka. And he's tackled from behind by Gvardiol. The referee says that tackle was legal. And it goes back to Stefan Ortega. Micah says City are having too much possession and we can't get out. My nerves aren't liking this. Well, this is typically the way City play, and it's typically the way games go when City play. I think it's important for teams to press City a little bit. We're not seeing that from Arsenal right now. Here's Foden. Foden just backing away, trying to get away there from Jorginho, and he just sends the ball back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol gives the ball to Ake, and Ake drops the ball back to Ortega again. and it's now given to Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz now down the right-hand side, just inside his own half of the field. He drops the ball to Rodri, and he gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. It's inside the centre circle, and he goes towards Gavardio down the left flank again. Gavardio trying to play the ball forward. He finds Phil Foden. That's a good pass. Foden tries to drop the ball back, and Kevin De Bruyne fails to read it. And Arsenal now got the ball back, and they can come forward. It's Gabriel Jesus. He drops the ball back there to Gabriel. Perhaps Arsenal may want to keep possession for a while. David Raya clears the ball downfield, and it goes over everybody's head and out of play. And that will just give City the ball back one more time. And Pep Guardiola won't mind that one bit. As we've had 21 and a half minutes gone here at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. The ball is played forward there, and it goes out of play behind for a goal kick to Arsenal. But 73% possession, Luke. Should Arsenal be worried about that?
At this stage, I won't be too concerned because I think both sides can definitely up it. I think Man City are just patiently moving the ball around, trying to work Arsenal out of their shape. Arsenal aren't pressing, so although they're having to go from side to side, they're not using that much energy. So I think, although it will tire Arsenal more than City, I think, again, Arsenal definitely can go up a gear. Playing long kicks upfield, though, from David Raya over the top is going to do absolutely nothing if they're not aiming for one of their taller players.
All right, now City have possession again, and it's Gavardio again, under pressure by Saka, and he releases the ball to Phil Foden, who drops the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic gives the ball there to Rodri, and Rodri finds Manuel Akanji. Akanji, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, he drops the ball back to Nathan Ake. Ake holds the ball up and gives the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic now finds Gavardio down the left flank. It seems City are going to go along a lot that way, that route in this game, I would say. And here's Rodri. Rodri finds Diaz. Diaz now has a bit of space in front of him to find Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne trying to turn away here from Kiwior. He finds Bernardo Silva, and now De Bruyne is set free, gets the cross in, but it's a poor one, and it's cleared away by Declan Rice. And now Kai Havertz has it in a defensive position. He plays the ball forward, looking for Declan Rice, but it's won back comfortably by Akanji, and he drops it back to Ake, and Ake releases Rodri. Rodri, he's got space in front of him. He's about 35 yards out, and he slips the ball here to Manuel Akanji. Akanji, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side, quick 1-2 with De Bruyne. Akanji's got space to get the cross in, but again, it's a poor one, and it's cleared away by Jorginho. And really only as far as Ruben Diaz. Diaz back now to Rodri. Rodri, he's got space in front of him, and it's pulled back into the middle here to Diaz. It's about 40 yards from goal. He goes long to the left-hand side to Gavardio. Brings it down well with the chest, Gavardio. He's over by the touchline on the left-hand side. He moves back towards the corner of the penalty area and gives it to Foden. Foden releases it to Kovacic. Kovacic to Akanji. Akanji forward to De Bruyne and back to Akanji. Akanji now back to Rodri. He's about 35 yards out, centre of the goal. Rodri, oh, that's a wonderful challenge by Declan Rice. And now Martin Odegaard can break out for the Arsenal. Martin Odegaard is looking for help. He finds Kai Havertz. Havertz will hold the ball up, waiting for Jesus. Havertz plays the ball to Jesus down the left-hand side. It's back through to Havertz. Can he get there? Oh, he clashes with Stefan Ortega. And all of the arms of the Manchester City players go up in unison. But Luke, I think Kai Havertz had every right to go for that.
Yeah, every right to go for that. And Declan Rice is pivotal in that movement because first he gestured to Odegaard to get out further forward. Then he wins the ball back to give it to Odegaard. And then it just set Havertz free there. So Declan Rice is crucial to that move.
Well, the referee's not going to take any further action here because you can argue as much as you like. That's 50-50 and the striker has every right to go for it. Kai Havertz is up, but he doesn't look in good shape. He's just struggling a little bit right now. We're going to see an early substitution. We're going to see Rico Williams coming on for Nathan Ake. Now, we can only assume that this is for an injury. Ake is down right now, but Ake now limping, and we are going to see Rico Lewis coming on for the Citizens. Just a straightforward substitution here, I think, Luke. It's Nathan Ake might have pulled something, I think.
Yeah, what will happen here is Manuel Akanji will probably slide into centre back, and Rico Lewis will come on to this side and just give a bit more pace down City's right hand side. Not a bad change, I think. Probably will shove Jesus and Kivior back, because I think Lewis has got a bit more energy about him than Ake has, than Akanji had, sorry, on this side. Bit of a shame to lose Ake. He's playing well, but these injuries happen.
And it's the free kick is the free kick is what's been given, and it's just taken quickly to Stefan Ortega, and Ortega drops it to Kovacic under pressure from Bukayo Saka. Good move by Kovacic, just stepping away from Bukayo Saka and putting him on his backside. And here's Kevin De Bruyne now. De Bruyne down the left hand side, under pressure there from Gabriel, and Gabriel is alleged to have fouled him. And it's going to be a free kick, which has been given by Anthony Taylor, our official today. Anthony Taylor has been a busy man this season, and he has actually officiated 34 games this season in various different competitions. He's shown 140 yellow cards and 8 red cards, and awarded 17 penalties. Here's Bernardo Silva, and he just clashes with Jakub Kiwior. Kiwior is alleged to have fouled him. Bernardo Silva says he wants further action. The referee is only going to give the free kick at this point. I think Anthony Taylor has decided to keep his cards in his pocket early on, which in my opinion is the right decision. But I do believe that's blatant obstruction there.
It's blatant obstruction, but if you're not going to book Gabriel at the top of the pitch for the foul on De Bruyne, you don't book Kiwior for that foul on Bernardo Silva. Consistency, and so far Anthony Taylor's been pretty lenient and been pretty consistent with the fact that he's not booked anybody early on. As the game goes on, cards will probably start flying, because that's usually what happens, but yeah, so far I've been impressed.
Free kick to be taken by De Bruyne. It's whipped into the box and it's headed out by Kai Havertz, and it's then picked up in midfield by Kovacic, who drops it back to Bernardo Silva there. Bernardo Silva, just inside the centre circle, he just drops the ball back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz just gives the ball to Manuel Akanji. Akanji, well, he's got Akanji is just now down the right. Still, it looks like Rico Williams is perhaps gone down the left, and that would leave Gvardiol in the middle, I think. That's what I'm looking at the moment. We'll see if that actually tells a more clearer picture in time. Jorginho finds Kai Havertz. Havertz drops the ball back there to Gabriel, and he gives the ball to Kiwior. Kiwior drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. David Raya is outside his only 18-yard box at the moment, and he plays the ball to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice down the left to Kiwior. Kiwior drops the ball back again to Gabriel, as now Arsenal deciding to be patient and keep possession. We've had 29 minutes gone at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 0. It's Arsenal 0 in this crunch match at the top of the table. And Declan Rice played it back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. Looks like Lewis, Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol. So Lewis has maybe slipped down the right-hand side in this change for Arsenal. That does look like to be the case. The ball is played long, looking for Bukayo Saka, but it just goes all the way through to the to the City goalkeeper Stefan Ortega, and he has been very steady early on in this game. We've had precious few chances, with both teams very reluctant in this game. Arsenal defending very, very well, but haven't created a great deal going forward. Here's Gvardiol, gives it to Kevin De Bruyne. Just over the halfway line now is De Bruyne. He's got a bit of space in front of him. He's making his move. He tries to play the ball down the left to Foden, but Foden slips and it's picked up by William Saliba instead. And now Arsenal can move forward. It's Ben White. He just drops the ball to Bukayo Saka. Oh, good play by Arsenal. Here's Ben White. He plays it to Odegaard, and there's a little bit of space for the Gunners now. Odegaard down the right-hand side, corner of the penalty area. Back to White. It's played across to Kiwior. Played back to Jesus. Can Jesus get a shot away? He can, Jesus, but it's pulled wide. And, well, that is only the second opportunity, really, both of them falling to Jesus, but that's good football by Arsenal, though.
Amazing football, which actually came from the Foden slip. Fast-paced movement between White and Saka and Odegaard. Then it was switched over to Kivia, played into Jesus, and really his shooting accuracy should have been better there. But yeah, I'd say decent movement, decent ball play, but yeah, it had to be better with that shot.
Well, Jesus, of course, would just love a goal against his former club. Stefan Ortega with the goal kick. And Ben White allows it to go over his head and out of play. That was quite dangerous with Phil Foden lying around. But it will, in fact, be a throw into Arsenal. Ben White will take it. So he just steps back into his being forced back as Anthony Taylor rigorously and forcingly free kick the throw-in positions for Arsenal anyway. And here's Odegaard. He gives the ball back to Kivia. Kivia gives the ball back to Odegaard. Odegaard looking for options. Oh, he finds only the back of Declan Rice, and that bounces nicely to Gavardio. He's under pressure by Bukayo Saka, and he does a quick exchange with with Rodri. And on the ball now is Diaz, and he gives the ball back to Rodri. And now here is Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic plays the ball forward to Rodri, just gets the ball back. Kovacic again, and drops the ball back to Gavardio. And it's played back into the centre of the half of Manchester City. And Bernardo Silva just plays it back to Kovacic. Kovacic to Ruben Diaz. Diaz has got a little bit of space in front of him, and he gives the ball back to Kovacic again. And now there's a quick pass there by Bernardo Silva, and Kovacic now on the way. And he's trying to set off Phil Foden on his way, but that ball was too long for Foden, and it's comfortably picked up by David Raya. And he fought for a moment about releasing it quickly, but I think he's going to go long again. Touches in the opposition box. This is how well Arsenal have done defensively, Luke. Only 2 touches in Arsenal's box, 6 for Arsenal in Manchester City's box. Given the amount of time and possession that City have had on the ball, that really talks great wonders about Arsenal's defence today.
It does. They definitely kept their shape well. I think both sides are struggling with the final ball, and that's really where both sides are falling down. I think Arsenal holding their shape making it difficult for Man City, but by the same token, I think Arsenal make it difficult for themselves by playing balls that are way too long over the top.
All right, well, we've had a comment in the comment section. Media, radio, jingles and gaming. Hello, Paul and Luke. Hope you're enjoying this game as I am. I am having a very splendid Easter. Best Easter so far for me. Really glad to hear that, media, radio and jingles. I'm really glad you're enjoying your Easter, and I'm actually glad you're enjoying this game. How was your day, guys? Well, I'm pretty good. Luke, how about you?
Yeah,
In a moment, here's Odegaard. Odegaard picks up the corner, the ball on the corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Here's Jesus again. Jesus looking to make space for a shot. Jesus still got the ball. It's blocked. It lands to Kai Havertz, who gives it to Kivia. Kivia is in an offside position, and it's going to be a free kick. So sorry, Luke, for interrupting you there. How is your day, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. Really, thanks for the comment there, media, radio, gaming and jingles. We definitely appreciate it. We know that you're a regular listener on here, and we appreciate that you take your time, your valuable time to listen to us. We definitely appreciate that. And anyone else who's listening in today, same goes for you. We definitely appreciate you spending your valuable time with us and enjoying this game, hopefully, as much as we are. Here is Erling Haaland. Haaland now just trying to turn away from Gabriel. And Gabriel is able to keep possession. No foul, says the referee. Gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard slips the ball forward now to Bukayo Saka. Arsenal need to get man in the box here. Jesus is in there. Kai Havertz is in there. Bukayo Saka holds the ball up. He drops the ball back to Declan Rice. It's about 25 yards out now. Declan Rice does a quick 1-2 with Jesus. The ball comes loose there to Saka and now breaks loose to Odegaard. Jesus tries to lift the ball into Martin Odegaard. It's too much on that and just goes through to the goalkeeper. Arsenal also struggling, Luke. As you say, it's perhaps the final ball, but City defending very well when Arsenal come forward as well.
That was a great example of what I was talking about. That just needed to be a slid ball really slow into Odegaard, but it was lifted too far wide, and that's the problem. you've got to have more quality in the final third if you want to open either of these two defences up, because they are marshalling themselves very well at the back.
All right, well, here's Ben White, and he gives the ball to Saliba. Saliba gives the ball away to Mateo Kovacic. And here's Gavardio now. That's a bad place to give the ball away. It's about 30 yards out. Kovacic now gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. He's got options left and right, and he's got Rodri. He gives the ball to Rodri. Rodri has got Gavardio down the left if he wants to. He gives the ball to Kovacic, who returns the ball to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva now skittling down the right-hand side. He cuts inside Bernardo Silva, tries to get the cross, and it's blocked there. I think the block came off Jorginho that time. Here is Manuel Akanji. Akanji just tries to play the ball there to Kovacic, who gives the ball to Gavardio down the left. He drops the ball there back to Ruben Diaz. All 11 City players in the Arsenal half at the moment. There's Rico Lewis. Lewis gives the ball there to Manuel Akanji. Akanji is about 35 yards out. He drops the ball over to the left-hand side down the flank to Gavardio. Gavardio's got space for the cross. It comes in. He's looking for Haaland. He does get his head on that, but he puts it wide. And, well, you can see here the cross comes in. And, well, he just gets a touch there, does Haaland, but he doesn't get what he wants on it. It's actually good defending there by Gabriel, who also gets some contact on that, making it very difficult for Haaland. But he's been kept very quiet in this first half so far, Luke.
What was good about that was there's both Kivia and Gabriel on Haaland, so the space narrowed as the ball came in. And also, Jorginho and Declan Rice are blocking the passing lanes brilliantly, so City can't slide Haaland in, because the ball just can't get through the volume of players that Arsenal stuck in front of the goal.
Well, it's a free kick for City for the foul on Haaland by Declan Rice. And it's about 35 yards out, perhaps a little far out for a shot, but you never know with Kevin De Bruyne. And he is joined by Phil Foden over on there to see whether Foden may take it or whether it's going to be De Bruyne. Arsenal having a very high line right on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's flicked in by De Bruyne to the back post to Manuel Akanji, who picks it up just inside the penalty area, left-hand side. He plays it all the way back to Rico Lewis, who's midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. And Kevin De Bruyne now plays the ball to Kovacic. Back to De Bruyne. And it's now given to Rodri. Rodri turning away from Jorginho and plays it down the left to Gavardio. Gavardio drops it back to Mateo Kovacic. We have another comment in the comment section. We're going to read that out in just a second. Here is Kevin De Bruyne down the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Up there is Jakub Kivia, but just still with the ball here is Bernardo Silva. He just flicks it back there to Diaz. Ruben Diaz to Manuel Akanji. Akanji is going to get this cross in here and just flicked on down. Well, he just got in front of Gabriel, did Rodri there, but he was not able to get enough. And Gabriel is just holding his cheek there. Let's just take a look at that again. Oh, that was very clever play by Rodri, Luke.
Yeah, Rodri ran into the box late and tried to arrive onto the ball. Akanji dinks the ball in. Rodri tries to get there. The ball's too far and it collides with Gabriel. But again, I think arriving late into the box definitely caused a bit of chaos there.
Well, we have the comment in the comment section is from Mogsy64, first-time listener in Taiwan, liking the commentary, hoping for a draw as a Liverpool fan. So far, so good. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please feel free to like and subscribe. We do matches every single week, so please do feel free to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for joining us all the way from Taiwan. Maybe you'd like to let us know what time it is over there right now. Here's Manuel Akanji, and he drops the ball back to Diaz, and Diaz gives the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic just down the left-hand side to Gavardio, and Gavardio gives the ball away, but it's alleged to have been fouled by Martin Odegaard. I'm not entirely sure on that. Let's take a look at that again. That did not look like a foul to me, but the free kick is given anyway, and I don't know if we're going to get to have another look at that, but here is Diaz. Diaz gives the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic now just over the halfway line. He's looking for options, and he gives the ball back to Gvardiol again down the left-hand side. And it's now back with Gvardiol again. Gvardiol swings it in, and it's right under the crossbar of David Raya. And he takes that ball very, very well. Sometimes they aren't easy to take, but he takes that and drops to the floor. And media, radio, jingles, and gaming says you are live right across the planet, as they say. There we go. Let's try not to get too nervous, Luke. But that is well taken by David Raya.
Superbly taken by David Raya. He had to back pedal, so the fact that he managed to keep the ball the right side of the line for his case was impeccable there.
Well, Kai Havertz going down, and he's just got back onto his feet now. It's going to be a throw into Arsenal, midway inside the City half of the field, down the left-hand side. And the throw-in taken there by Jakub Kivior. He drops it back to Gabriel. Gabriel plays it all the way back to the goalkeeper, David Raya, who's going to get another long ball forward. But Manuel Akanji deals with that, but he's not been able to keep it in play. And it's behind for a corner. It was a poor header back by Akanji. Media, radio, and jingle says a bit old-fashioned, but we still like it to this day. I'm talking a bit too much, aren't I? No. You feel free to talk as much as you like. We always want to get some interaction in the commentary. So if you've not commented before, please feel free to comment. I'll read as many out as I can. The only caveat is you just keep your language clean. That's all we ask for, but you can talk as much as you like. We do like a bit of interaction going on in these commentaries. The corner is going to be taken by Declan Rice. It's swung in and it's headed out there by Rodri, but only as far as Bukayo Saka, who tries to drop the ball there to William Saliba, who gives the ball then to Gabriel. And it's now with Bukayo Saka. Saka is down the right-hand side. He gives the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard is dispossessed. And Phil Foden just lays the ball back and it's cleared forward. But Declan Rice just nips in ahead of Kevin De Bruyne. And Declan Rice plays the ball forward. Oh, and all that good work was undone. I think we said before the show, didn't we, Lucas? If this finishes 0-0, we're blaming Mike.
Well, I'm just watching that ball from Declan Rice. And honestly, it has to be better over the top. They're not giving themselves any credit by just lumping the ball over the top, trying to hope that someone's going to be running onto it. They've got to actually work something here because they're playing Manchester City. Like, again, City need to move the ball faster because they're playing Arsenal. Like, tactical awareness.
Here's Rico Lewis. He drops the ball back to Akanji. Akanji gives the ball to Rodri. And it's just flicked back there by De Bruyne to Manuel Akanji. And it's now back with Rodri. Rodri to Foden, edge of the area. Foden with a shot, but it's blocked. And I think that block just came off Ben White. But City still have the ball. It's Manuel Akanji. But a foul has been given, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. We've got 2 comments in the comment section. Media, radio, and jingle says, anyway, I need to rush off for now for Easter dinner with my family. I may come back, but not sure yet. See you later. Thank you, Media, Radio, and Jingles, for joining us today. We look forward to hear from you again sometime soon in the future. You take care, my friend. And it's going to be a free kick to the Arsenal as we approach in half-time. At half-time, we're going to take a quick break, time enough for me to get a cup of tea, and then I will be back and we'll have a discussion with Mike regarding Arsenal's performance in the first half. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time. It has been a fairly free-flowing game. There's been a few stoppages for fouls, but nothing major. The ball is cleared downfield by David Raya from that free kick, and it's picked up by Havertz. Havertz is dispossessed by Rodri, and the ball is playing forward now. City breaking forward quickly, but Foden is almost dispossessed by Declan Rice, but it's picked up by Gvardiol. Gvardiol holds the ball up midway inside his own half of the field. He drops it back. He gives it now to Manuel Akanji. Akanji now midway inside his own half of the field. Let's see what options he's going to use here. He's got his waving his arms, looking for options. Ruben Diaz drops the ball to Kovacic. Back to Diaz. Diaz now holds the ball up as there's not a lot of movement by the City players at the moment. And City just comfortable at the moment just to pass the ball around inside their own half. Here's Rodri. Let's see if he can find a good pass. Oh, that's a wonderful ball over to Gavardio. Left-hand side, Gavardio cutting inside, and he was looking for Foden. Foden picks it up well. Here's Rico Lewis. Lewis holds the ball up, but he's challenged there as Arsenal managed to clear the ball away with that being from Kai Havertz, but only as far as only as far as Kevin De Bruyne, but he's dispossessed by Jesus, and De Bruyne fouls Jesus, and it's going to be a free kick as we've played half the stoppage time at the end of this first half, and it's going to be a free kick to the Arsenal, which Gabriel Jesus will be going forward, and I think it's probably going to be Ben White that's going to take it, to be honest. And just before we go for a break, we will get Luke's half-time. We will get Luke's first half assessment. David Raya is actually going to take this free kick as Ben White moves away from it, and David Raya happy just to take his time with this one. He'll launch the ball forward, and looking for it is up in the air. There is Kai Havertz, but it's comfortably won by Gavardio. Jorginho, though, trying to keep the ball in play, and it rolls out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. We are almost at the halfway point here now. It's been an interesting first half. Luke, let's get your assessment on that first half.
Yeah, it's been a battle of wills, to be fair. Not really much in it. Arsenal's shape's been fairly solid. No real gaps there. Coutinho and Ben White are dropping very narrow, forming like a back five in a back seven. Saka and Jesus are basically forming very, very wide wing backs, and it's really hard for City to get through. I think City's problem is they're not moving the ball quick enough. They're basically allowing Arsenal to sit in. They're just playing it around in the hope that it tires them out. Arsenal aren't really pressing City, so it's not really having the desired effect. Arsenal are struggling to create anything, getting the ball forward enough. They're playing these long balls over the top to Saka, Jesus and Havertz, which aren't extremely tall. I think maybe in the second half, Martinelli might need to come on for Arsenal to get a little bit more impetus. But the first half, it's been decent, just lacking quality in the final third. I'm expecting better from both sides going forward in the second half, to be honest.
All right, well, it is half time, and it is 0-0 at the break. Chances for two chances really for Jesus, and chances falling for Erling Haaland and, of course, Phil Foden. But at half time at the Etihad, it is Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. We'll be back in a short time. Welcome back. We are half time here at the Etihad with the score at 0-0. With me in the commentary booth here for a moment while Luke goes and takes a short break. We have Mike Harneman. Mike is an Arsenal fan. And I'm keen to ask you, Mike, Manchester City really struggled to break down Arsenal's stubborn defence. Do you think that's more of a lack of poor passing by Manchester City, poor build-up play, or do you credit Arsenal's compact defence?
I think you have to credit the defence, to be honest. I think when you look at how we've set up in recent weeks, we've been very solid defensively, and Manchester City have got a lot of quality there. Obviously, they've got Foden and Bernardo Silva, Haaland and the like as well. But I just feel that our defensive have dealt with them all comfortably, to be honest. Yeah, Manchester City have only had that one chance, which was headed directly at David Raya from the corner. But other than that, we've been very solid defensively, and that kind of just follows on from how we've looked in sort of the last month, maybe 6 weeks or so. Yeah.
What do you think you need to kind of break Manchester City down? You've had a couple of openings with Gabriel Jesus, whose finishing has not been fantastic, of course, but what do you feel that Arsenal need to do now to sort of break Manchester City down and maybe have Arsenal get the goal in the second half and break the deadlock?
I think we've got to attack this Manchester City defence a bit more, to be honest. I think Manchester City have kind of shown their hand, and I think in the second half we've kind of got to show ours a bit more, because we've had the chances through Jesus, and Odegaard's looked lively in patches. Saka's not really been on his A game in that first half. In my opinion, he's not really had a lot of the balls. He's not really had much that he could do there on that side, and Kai Havertz the same. But I feel that Manchester City have shown their hand in the first half. I think in the second half we've kind of got to show ours a bit more.
And you've got attacking options on the bench. You've got Martinelli, you've got Trossard, you've got Nketiah. Also, Partey in terms of creativity. Zinchenko gets forward well as well. Emil Smith-Rowe. Do you see Mikel Arteta making any changes if perhaps after the hour mark we're not seeing Arsenal venturing too much into the Manchester City penalty area?
I think so, yeah. I think that, if it remains 0-0 in particular for, about 10-15 minutes into the second half, then I feel that we'll look at bringing on maybe a Trossard, maybe a Martinelli, somebody that can kind of offer something a little bit different on the wing, and potentially even Zinchenko go a little bit more attacking in regards to the left back, that sort of left full back position as well, and try and look at pushing them back that way.
Well, just on Manchester City as well, we all know what they're capable of, but they've got a lot of firepower on the bench as well, right? I mean, Julian Alvarez, Jeremy Doku, Oscar Bob, and Jack Grealish, of course, we all know what he can do. They can pretty much turn to any one of those at any time, and I have to be honest, when you've got that much firepower on the bench, you really have to wonder. Your defense has been very good so far, and it's been very tight so far, and all of that. But how hard is it to deal with these different variable style of players that these players, Jack Grealish, Jeremy Doku, Julian Alvarez, Oscar Bob, bring to the table?
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult challenge, a very different challenge. I should say, if any of those do come on. I think when a couple of those come on, I think Alvarez will come on, Doku will come on at some point. If the scores remain level. And it will be a very different challenge for the likes of Saliba and Gabriel and Ben White and Kivior along the back. But it's a challenge that I think we're more than capable of standing up to. We've shown in that first half that we can deal with the likes of Silva and Foden and Haaland, people like that. So we're more than capable, I think, of dealing with that. And obviously we've got options on the bench if we want to turn to that as well. When maybe change it up a little bit in the midfield with Thomas Partey, and we could even potentially change it up at full back and put Tomiyasu out to right back if we needed to, and we've got Ben White as an option who can kind of move inside to centre back. So yeah, we've got options as well.
Knowing who you've got coming up, and this is the last question, I appreciate. Chelsea in the middle of that somewhere, and also Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, essentially, Tottenham Hotspur could really put the kibosh on your entire Championship season at White Hart Lane. Not at White Hart Lane, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Where do you see any points being dropped over those course of games?
With the next couple of games, it's tricky to know what Arsenal's going to show up, because so far in the last 5-6 weeks we've had a really good Arsenal side that's showing up, and we've been scoring a lot of goals and not really conceding many, but anything's possible. Luton went ahead obviously at Tottenham and made Tottenham work for that victory yesterday, so that won't be easy. Obviously the reverse fixture at Kenilworth Road wasn't easy. That was there was lots of goals in that one. Was it 4-3 to Arsenal, I believe, something like that. So
4-3, they covered it on the commentary hub.
Yeah, so they made that one very, very difficult as well. So Luton will be fighting for their lives. So that that's going to be a difficult game. The Villa game is going to be difficult. The Chelsea game, the Tottenham game, the Man United game. We've got some difficult games still. When knowing Arsenal, we'll probably win all the ones we shouldn't win, or maybe not shouldn't win, but they're more difficult, and then probably lose to Luton or something, or we'll go on and win this game and then somehow drop points against Luton or something. But that's that's kind of very. I think that's the old Arsenal, to be honest. I don't think that's the Arsenal of this season. I think that's Arsenal more of last season than years gone by, to be honest with you.
All right, Mike. Well, are you sticking with your 3-2?
Yeah, why not? We'll have 5 goals in the second half. Why not? Let's go with it.
Had 6 at Bramall Lane yesterday. I watched that game. 6 in the second half. Finished 3-3.
Yeah, well, we've but why not? We need some goals in the second half. So yeah, why not? Let's say we're going to have 5 in the second half. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Again, we'll have a little chat at full time. Okay. All right, Luke.
No worries.
Luke, the players are about to come out for the second half. Let's have your assessment on the second half. Where do you see this game going?
Well, it'll all depend on whether Man City can move the ball quicker, whether Arsenal have lapses in concentration, what substitutions are made. I think it'll be crucial to try and get a bit more energy into this somewhere. Maybe from Alvarez and Grealish, maybe off the bench for City. Martinelli, Trossard for Arsenal. I think that's going to be crucial. But again, I think Arsenal need to hold that shape and just play the ball a little bit quicker along the floor and get into space.
And just as well, I'd like to just mention I don't own this channel, the Commentary Hub. It's not my channel. I just work on it. But the owner of the channel is Ross Vernon, and today is his 32nd birthday. So we want to wish you a very happy birthday, Ross, from everyone at the Commentary Hub. As Arsenal gather together now for the start of the second half, and it's for Arsenal. Well, it's the biggest 45 minutes of their season for sure, and we'll see now whether they can break the deadlock. Phil Foden is waiting to get the second half underway, as City will be attacking the goal to our right in the second half, as he goes all the way back to Stefan Ortega. Ortega just is midway inside his own half of the field right now, and he's going to play the ball long. He's looking for the chasing Erling Haaland, but he's not able to get there. Coming across there on that right-hand side was Bernardo Silva, but hooked out of play by Gabriel Jesus. The throw-in is taken quickly down the right-hand side, and here's Rico Lewis. Lewis just does a quick 1-2 with Rodri, and he gives the ball to Akanji, and the ball is now played to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic drops it back into his own half to Ruben Diaz. He gives it to Akanji. Akanji back to Diaz. And Diaz just drops the ball back to Ortega. He releases it to Rodri, who gives it back to Diaz. Arsenal now pressing City a little bit. The ball is played long by Ortega, but he only finds Gabriel Jesus. But Jesus' ball is equally poor, and it's cleared away by Diaz. And Diaz heads it out again one more time, only as far as Declan Rice. But Jorginho now is dispossessed, and Phil Foden, City breaking 4-on-4 if they can hurry. And here's Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side, corner of the penalty area. Bernardo Silva holds the ball up, and he's going to just drop the ball back to the edge of the penalty area to Rico Lewis. Lewis turns Havertz brilliantly, and he plays the ball now across to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic gets a shot away, and it's just wide. It's a first real effort towards the Arsenal goal, and it just flies past David Raya's left-hand post. And Luke, good football by Manchester City there.
Rico Lewis makes that. By spinning Havertz and running into the space, it opens up the door to Kovacic for the shot. It wasn't far away. I think it just dipped away instead of dipping into the corner. It dipped just past the post. But before that, it literally was pinball. Neither side could keep hold of it for about 2 minutes.
Well, the ball is now back with Stefan Ortega, and Ortega clears it a little better this time. He finds Haaland, who just heads the ball down, and he flicks it to Bernardo Silva, who launches it long, looking for Phil Foden, but David Raya, ever so calm, just comes out and plucks it out the air. And Anthony Taylor is lecturing somebody. Not sure exactly what for. Let's take a look at this. Possibly for the shirt pull there on Haaland. So I don't know whether he's going to go back and yes, he is. He's going to go back and take that free kick. And it's taken quickly. And Phil Foden is almost dispossessed by Odegaard, but nipping in to help him is Rodri. And Rodri plays it down the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Silva gives the ball to Rico Lewis, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. Here's Rodri. Rodri back to Rico Lewis again. Rico Lewis trying to just turn away from Havertz one more time, and it's given to Diaz. Diaz gives the ball to Rodri. Rodri plays it forward to Erling Haaland, who is dispossessed here by Declan Rice. Good work by Declan Rice. He gives the ball there to Jesus, and Jesus just trying to break away from Bernardo Silva. He gives the ball back to Declan Rice. Rice drops the ball back there, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, David Raya, and David Raya releases it to Saliba. Saliba plays the ball forward for Bukayo Saka, back to Saliba. Saliba now under pressure from Phil Foden. He goes back to the goalkeeper, David Raya, who clears the ball downfield. Looking to bring this down is Kai Havertz. His first touch wasn't the best and he's dispossessed, but he's alleged to have been fouled. I think, no, the referee has said play on. And it's Rico Lewis now, inside the centre circle for Manchester City, just over the halfway line. And here's Kovacic. Kovacic drops the ball back there to Ruben Diaz. Diaz just inside his own half of the field, moving over to the right-hand side. Diaz. He gives the ball to Rico Lewis. Lewis back to Manuel Akanji. Akanji just holding the ball up inside the centre circle. And here is Kovacic, and plays the ball down the left to Phil Foden. Phil Foden shields the ball and returns it to Kovacic. Kovacic just trying to get away from Bukayo Saka, but Bukayo Saka wins the ball back brilliantly for Arsenal. He's fouled there, but the referee says play on. Havertz, he needs to play the pass quickly, and it's a poor one, which is comfortably won back by Gvardiol. Oh, that's a poor pass, Luke, by Kai Havertz.
He just needs to slide it round the corner, and he just doesn't pass it quick enough, and doesn't get enough direction on it. It's shocking.
And here's Bukayo Saka now. Bukayo Saka's got Gvardiol in front of him, plays it to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard down the right, and he's just pulling back Odegaard, and he's just dropping himself back into the middle. He gives the ball to Jorginho, gets the ball back off Jorginho. And Odegaard tried to play the ball through to Kai Havertz, but there was a bit too much weight on that ball, but it was the right idea, Luke.
Right idea, wrong execution, and again, it's that final ball. They're just getting either too much on it or not enough on it. I think at some point they're going to get one right. Maybe.
And here's Kivia, who drops the ball back to David Raya. And it's cleared downfield by David Raya. Up in the air there goes Gabriel Jesus as he tried to take off down the left, and he's alleged to have fouled Rico Lewis. I'm not entirely sure about that. And neither is Mikel Arteta. By the looks of it either. There did not appear to be a lot in that at all. Here is Kovacic. He gives the ball to Rodri. Now gives it to Ruben Diaz. Back to Kovacic, who drops it back to the goalkeeper. Mike says shoulder to shoulder for him. And Luke, your opinion on that?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Definitely shoulder to shoulder that one. It was pretty weak, to be honest, to give a free kick for that.
Here's Odegaard now, gives the ball to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka plays the ball across and sliding in there is Jesus, but he couldn't make it. Oh, that's the first. That is the closest we've had to a breakthrough in this game. And now Rico Lewis gives the ball to Rodri, and right now at the moment there's tackles coming in all over the place. Rico Lewis is down, and City are complaining. They want to see yellow cards. The issue here is that De Bruyne is complaining. It is the referee has chosen again not to give the yellow card. Let's take a look again at this, and I don't like the fact that City are continually trying to get players sent off and booked, but Gabriel Jesus just not able to meet that. Luke,
it seems to have been played just too far in front of him at too much pace there. I don't think he anticipated it was going to come across that fast. And I don't like it when City are complaining either. I think they're both flying in for tackles there. So I think, yeah, I can't see much wrong with them, to be fair.
well, Martin Odegaard now is speaking to Anthony Taylor as well. Not sure what's being said there, but as it stands, it is a free kick to Manchester City, and Akanji just takes it and gives it to Ruben Diaz. Diaz just plays the ball down here to Gvardiol. Gvardiol to Phil Foden, who's also been kept very quiet today. Back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol drops the ball back to Diaz. Diaz back to Gvardiol, but the pass wasn't the best. And Bukayo Saka wins the throw-in, and here's Havertz. Is he offside? They're appealing for it, and it has been given. Again, that's pretty naive from Kai Havertz, I think, Luke. Needs to do better.
Hold your run. It's not difficult. Like, you know that if you run too far, you're going to get offside. Just hold your run.
Here's Bukayo Saka, and Gvardiol just gets in front of Bukayo Saka and plays it off the England starlet, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. Josko Gvardiol is going to take it. We've had 8 minutes of the second half. We are still all knotted up at 0-0 with Manchester City, with the throw-in here taken by Gvardiol and to Kovacic. It's lifted forward. Oh, that's a good win of the header there by Haaland. And Declan Rice is dispossessed by Kevin De Bruyne. And De Bruyne now, his touch wasn't the best either. And Kivia is just able to nip in and send it back to David Raya, who clears the ball downfield. And just in the final third of the field by both teams, as you said, Luke, really been lacking something as well, hasn't it?
I think they're rushing it a little bit. I think because of how quick each back line is, I think every attacking player is having to go a little bit faster than they usually would, and it's not natural. Kevin De Bruyne would never have lost the ball in that space, usually, but Declan Rice was on his heels and getting in there, and that's what I think he just knocked it away slightly as well.
Well, Mike says, wouldn't mind seeing Havertz come off for Martinelli and Jesus moving into the number 9 role. I think that's something that you alluded to earlier on with Jesus playing down the left, you felt was not really productive.
Well, it's not really been productive because Jesus is the striker and he's not really proving much damage down that right-hand side for Man City. I can't understand why Martinelli hasn't started in this game. It's very important. Like, you'd want your best players to be playing and playing in the right position.
I think Martinelli's just still coming back from an injury. He's not quite fit. Rico Lewis plays the ball down the left-hand side to Phil Foden. And here's to Gvardiol now. Gvardiol. And he drops the ball back there to Diaz. And Diaz gives the ball to Rodri. And Rodri just holds the ball up and plays it across there to Akanji, and Akanji drops it back there to Rodri. Rodri's got Kovacic alongside him, and he gives it to Kovacic. Rodri now gets the ball back, launches it long to the right-hand side to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne trying to get the cross away here, but this is good work by Kivia, monitoring Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne manages to find Bernardo Silva, but off Kivia, and Bernardo Silva just allows that ball to roll out of play. and it's going to be a corner to Manchester City down the right-hand side. And we're going to see Kevin De Bruyne, I think, go over and take this, or is it going to be Phil Foden? It looks like it's Phil Foden. In the box there is Haaland, Rodri, Gvardiol is in there as well, as it's swung in by Foden. The cross is headed out as far by White, but only as far as Haaland, and he finds Kovacic. Kovacic finds Bernardo Silva now. Silva is midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. Bernardo Silva gives the ball back to Kovacic. Kovacic holds the ball up to Rico Lewis. And now back to Rodri. Rodri just holds the ball up here now. Oh, that's a good ball over to the right-hand side to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne swings the ball in, but it's a poor one. And it goes behind. I think, to be honest with you, Luke, I don't know about your opinion might be different on this, but I feel they haven't brought De Bruyne into the game enough.
I think it's been hard with the shape that Arsenal have played for Foden, De Bruyne, or Bernardo Silva to actually look that effective. They probably need a bit of pace coming on, to be honest with you. They look a bit static. It's a bit kind of, everybody knows what they're doing in a sense. They know what De Bruyne, Silva and Foden are going to do. And there's not enough kind of unpredictability about it. And I think that's part of the issue here.
Kovacic plays the ball forward looking for Haaland, and that goes all the way back to the goalkeeper by Ben White. I think it's tailor-made for Jeremy Doku, to be honest, with his pace and speed and his goal-scoring and creative ability. I really think that this game is tailor-made for Jeremy Doku, to be perfectly honest with you, Luke.
Yeah, arguably I'd also put a shout-out to Julian Alvarez. I think I'm surprised that he hasn't started this game. Probably given a bit more dynamism in there behind Haaland. He was in red-hot form all season, so for me, I think either Doku or Alvarez to come off the bench probably would change it in City's favour. But like Mike said, Martinelli or Trossard for Arsenal if they were to flip it their way.
Foden gives the ball to Rodri, who releases the ball to Rico Lewis, who in turn releases the ball to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side, corner of the penalty area now. Bernardo Silva looking to get the crossing. He's doubled up by Kivia and Gabriel Jesus. And now Kivia has won the ball, giving it to Jesus. Jesus has released the ball to Jorginho, and Jorginho has been dispossessed, and now City have the ball. Edge of the area, Rodri with the shot, but it's a good block there by Gabriel. But the ball was just given away by Jorginho there in a very dangerous position. Here's Kovacic. And he gives the ball to Akanji. Akanji to Foden. Gives it to Haaland. Back to Foden. Foden just holding the ball up. Is he brought down by the Arsenal captain, Martin Odegaard? The referee says yes. And it's going to be a free kick in a very dangerous position. And Odegaard is not happy with that. Foden is on his feet now. Let's just take a look at this. Yeah, I think he just catches him there. So it'll be a free kick. And it's in a very dangerous position, almost corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. I'd argue it's about 30 yards out. And this is really Kevin De Bruyne territory. It's also Bernardo Silva territory. And we're just going to see who is going to go. Arsenal have lined up on the edge of the penalty area in a pretty high line. Akanji, Gvardiol, Haaland and Rodri are all in there. And this free kick is, I'm just wondering who's going to take this. It is in fact De Bruyne. He swings the ball in and it's headed up into the air by Havertz, but only as far as Foden. Foden drops the pass back there to Rico Lewis. Lewis back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne launches the ball in and it evades everybody and goes behind for a goal kick. Mike says possibly even Trossard. Well, we're going to see it now. Jeremy Doku and Jack Grealish are coming on. And we'll get Luke's thoughts on this in a moment. I'm not surprised to see Jeremy Doku, and I'm honestly not surprised to see Jack Grealish. Foden goes off along with Kovacic. So basically, Foden and Kovacic are off. Grealish and Doku are on. Your thoughts on that one, Luke?
Surprised Foden's come off, but not surprised that Kovacic has come off. They needed to get a bit more dynamicness into it. I think Grealish and Doku definitely add the pace and trickery that's probably needed here. Again, something needs to be done to unlock this Arsenal defence, who have been absolutely brilliant as of until now. Don't want to curse it. Been very tight, very compact.
And City now coming forward with Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne across to meet him is William Saliba. Kyria's also there as well. But it's a throw-in to Manchester City. And the throw-in is taken quickly, looking for the already speedy Doku, but getting across and making the vital challenge there was the captain, Martin Odegaard. Arsenal now also looking to make a change. Now, this one I am surprised at. Takahiro Tomiyasu. I would have thought Zinchenko, but it is Tomiyasu. And he will probably be coming on for Kivia, I should suspect. But we'll see in just a moment. But we're going to see a corner first. It's a goal kick, in fact. I thought we'd got a corner there. But Tomiyasu, Luke?
Yeah, a bit confused. Unless someone's picked up a knock or they've not got enough fitness, that's very surprising because that back line has definitely been holding its own. I've been impressed with Jakub Kyria so far, dealing with it was De Bruyne or Silva on that side.
Here is Martin Odegaard. Oh, it's a disappointing pass by Odegaard. He only finds Rico Lewis. Lewis now coming forward over the halfway line. He's being stalked there by Gabriel Jesus. He moves away from Jesus and plays a good ball to Jack Grealish. Grealish holds the ball up. I think I understand why they're bringing on Tomiyasu. I'll explain in a moment. Here's Diaz. Diaz plays the ball across to Akanji. Akanji back to Rodri. Rodri lifts the ball forward to Haaland. Can Haaland turn and get the shot away? Arsenal block him out completely, and it's cleared away by William Saliba. I think because we're going to see Doku on that right-hand side, I think perhaps Arteta is looking for someone with a bit of extra speed to try to keep up with Doku. And here's Rodri, plays the ball forward, and it's picked up here again by Rodri. Rodri plays the ball down the left-hand side to Grealish. Grealish just trying to get away from Bukayo Saka. He goes down quite easily, in my opinion. No, I don't think there was a foul there. I don't think there was a foul there, but the referee has blown up the whistle. Let's have a look. Oh, he gets onto his foot. Yeah, that's a free kick, and those can be quite painful. Actually, studs on the feet. We may well see that substitution very, very soon. Of course, we'll see Thomas Partey as well coming on, adding some creativity in that midfield. So Thomas Partey will probably join Tomiyasu. I suspect the substitute for Partey will be Jorginho, and for Tomiyasu, it's probably going to be Kivia. But we've got this free kick to concentrate now down the left-hand side. And it's swung in by De Bruyne, and it's headed out by Havertz and flicked on by Odegaard, and just won back there by Jack Grealish, who gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, who's now moved into a more central midfield role, gives the ball to Jeremy Doku down the right. Doku has got Kivia in front of him, and he drops the ball back there to Silva. Silva back to Rodri, back to Doku. Doku just trying to get away from Kivia. Kivia drops the ball back there to Rodri, and Rodri flicks the ball in, and it's a poor ball. It goes behind. We are going to see the substitution now. So it is Jorginho for Partey, and we'll just wait and see. I think it's probably going to be, yes, it is Kivia, and Kivia for Tomiyasu. So Jakub Kivia and Jorginho are off. Takahiro Tomiyasu, who wears number 18, is coming on, along with Thomas Partey, who wears number 5. If you're following along with the pictures, and that substitution is now going to take place now, and it's probably just add a little bit of pace in the left-back position, Luke.
Yeah, I think probably freshen it up, because Man City have freshened it up on that side. Tomiyasu is a fairly capable defender. I just think that Kivia had it covered regardless. I think adding Partey in there probably just to keep on going with what's already there. He can also play some quality balls forward. We'll have to see if these substitutions make a difference.
The ball is long downfield and plucked up in the air there by Gabriel. It's lifted forward there by by Declan Rice, I should say, but there's a foul on Havertz, is there? Or has the referee not given that? We'll just wait and see what Anthony Taylor said. In fact, he seems to have pointed in the other direction and has given it in the favour of Manchester City. So it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City, and a yellow card is being shown in the direction. I'm not quite sure who that was. Oh, yes, it's in the direction of Jesus, who's probably said too much. Well, with all the protesting going on, finally Anthony Taylor's had enough, I would say. 66 minutes gone, and it is still 0-0 here. As Rico Lewis just plays it back to the goalkeeper, and it's cleared downfield by Stefan Ortega, and up in the air to win that ball, and out of play there is Gabriel Jesus. Mike has suggested that Trossard might be better than Martinelli at this stage. And here is the number 20, Bernardo Silva. He holds the ball up here, Silva, and he just plays the ball to Ruben Diaz. Diaz gives it back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva holds the ball up. He's moving into the centre circle now, is Silva. Got options available left and right. He's got Gvardiol on the left, Akanji on the right. He gives it to Rodri. Rodri plays the ball to Grealish. We all know what he's capable of. Grealish drops the ball back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol now gives it back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva. He's just looking for options available. Arsenal standing off Manchester City at the moment, allowing them to have all this possession of the ball right now. Here's Gvardiol. Again, it's just over the halfway line in the Arsenal half of the field. Gvardiol. He's just there is no pressure at all here from the Arsenal team. No pressing. 77% possession, Luke. And I just wonder why Arsenal, and we're finally seeing something now. The ball, Rico Lewis is in fact fouled by Declan Rice, and it's going to be a free kick, and it's not going to be taken from the right position. And it's played by forward by Rodri, and Rodri finds Jeremy Doku. Doku turning away from Tomiyasu. Doku inside the penalty area. Oh, he tries to pull it back to Rico Lewis, but it is a poor ball, and it's won back there by Kai Havertz, but he's dispossessed. And now it's scrappy players. The ball is being given away, and it's Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva picked up by Rodri in the penalty area. Both sides just handing each other the ball right now. Jack Grealish now has finally got it down the left. He gives it to Bernardo Silva. Back to Rodri. Back to Silva. He's got three Arsenal players around him, Bernardo Silva. He tries to get the cross away, but Ben White blocks him very well. And that is a really tight defending, Luke, by Arsenal.
Yeah, again, they followed the ball round. They a couple of times you thought, oh, they're going to break it through Man City, but Arsenal held firm. Again, I think care with the ball is probably needed for both sides in those sorts of areas. But again, Man City just got the possession.
Rodri drops the ball. Kevin De Bruyne down the right-hand side. Kevin De Bruyne back to Rodri and Rico Lewis. Lewis to Gvardiol. Gvardiol down the left to Jack Grealish. Down the left flank, he's got Ben White in front of him. Coming across to help there is Saka. He gives the ball back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol back to Rico Lewis as Arsenal doubling up on the wingers. Here is Jack Grealish. Grealish. He's got Ben White and Bukayo Saka in front of him. Here's Bernardo Silva. Silva drops the ball back to Grealish. Grealish now moving towards the middle, looking for a bit of extra space. He's got Doku on the right, and it's a beautiful ball to Jeremy Doku. Doku with Tomiyasu stalking him, and it's now back with Rodri. Rodri plays it to Akanji, and Akanji gives it back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol to De Bruyne. De Bruyne swings the ball in, and that's a good win with the header by Saliba, and it falls to Odegaard, and Odegaard launches the ball forward, and it's comfortably won back really by Ruben Diaz. So as Arsenal keep giving the ball away, here's Rico Lewis. He gives the ball to Rodri. Rodri played forward there to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva goes down under the challenge of Jesus. And here's Bukayo Saka now. Surely he's fouled that time by Bernardo Silva, and it'll be a free kick. As Leandro Trossard is being readied now. So I suspect it'll be for Saka, and Jesus will move into the middle, Luke. What do you think?
Probably Havertz.
Havertz, I should say, not Saka. I don't know why I said Saka.
Yeah, Havertz for me, definitely. I mean, there's not enough impetus from Arsenal so far down that far side.
Well, it's actually looking like it's Jesus. It is indeed Jesus. So Jesus is going off. So it's going to be like for like. I mean, you can definitely look at it like this as an option. I just wonder that Martinelli was warming up as well. I wonder whether that means that he is going to come on for Havertz and go down the middle. He has played down the middle in that number 9 role before Martinelli. So we do wonder whether we might see that again. We've had 71 minutes gone here. It's Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0 as a free kick is taken by Arsenal. David Raya has the ball back, but his goal kick, his clearance only found Jeremy Doku, who's in turn giving the ball away. Giving the ball away to Trossard. And here goes Leandro Trossard now. Let's see what he can do for Arsenal. He finds Tomiyasu, who just gives the ball away with a poor pass. And it goes out for a corner, though, off a Manchester City player. So Arsenal have a corner. Micah said congratulations to Arsenal women who have won the Continental League final 1-0 after Stina Blackstenius goal in extra time against Chelsea. So congratulations to Arsenal's women who get the job done today against their London rivals. It's going to be a corner for Arsenal. And Tomiyasu has gone over to take it. And Arsenal have, not Tomiyasu rather, that's not Tomiyasu, that's Leandro, that's Declan Rice actually. On the far side, it's really difficult to see on the monitor, but it's Declan Rice. Declan Rice swings in, it's a poor corner, and it's just headed out by Kevin De Bruyne, only as far as Odegaard, mind you, and he gives it to Bukayo Saka. Saka now gives the ball here to number 19, Trossard. Now, Saka again, just trying to turn away from Rico Lewis, and he drops the ball into the middle of the park to Tom Partey. Partey just drops the ball there to Gabriel, who goes all the way back to David Raya. David Raya clears the ball downfield, and it's only as far as Gvardiol, as every time, all afternoon, the Manchester City backline have won those goal kicks very, very easily. Here's Akanji. Akanji coming forward over the halfway line now, plays the ball down the left to Gvardiol. Gvardiol plays the ball there to Ruben Diaz. It's now played over on the right-hand side to Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis looking for options. He gives the ball there to Rodri. Rodri, long ball over to the left. That's a beautiful ball by Rodri. Picked up by Jack Grealish on the left flank. Grealish, and he's got Bukayo Saka and Ben White in front of him. And Grealish gives possession to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva with the cross. It's headed out that time by Gabriel, only as far as De Bruyne. But it's almost won back there by Bukayo Saka, but Gvardiol maintains possession. Gvardiol pulled back to the edge of the box to Diaz. Now to De Bruyne. De Bruyne plays it down the left-hand side to Gvardiol. Gvardiol's got two around him. Can he get the cross in, Josko Gvardiol? He can't. It's blocked. And it's blocked by Partey that time. And here is Jack Grealish. Grealish pulls the ball back there to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's cross in, looking for the head of Haaland, but it only finds Jeremy Doku. Doku now down the left side. Doku will get the cross in here. And it only finds Bukayo Saka. But Bukayo Saka has been dispossessed by De Bruyne. The ball comes across and it's cleared away there by William Saliba. Back to De Bruyne and to Grealish. Grealish gets into the penalty area. Tries to find Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva tries to get the cross in. But it's blocked there by Ben White as Manchester City turning the screws on this Arsenal defence. And it's getting harder and harder for Arsenal to keep this Manchester City team out. And we'll get Luke's comment right after this corner. It's going to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne in the last 10 minutes. Look at that attacking threat. It's 85-15, really. If you're looking at that bar from a percentage perspective, the corner comes in. It's right under the crossbar of David Raya, and he drops it first, but he's able to pick it up. And well, surely the referee is not going to allow that, and it goes back to the goalkeeper. He's in fact now been given a free kick, and now he's being forced. Now, what is he doing now, Anthony Taylor? Well, just while we wait and see while Anthony Taylor sorts himself out, Luke, Manchester City really putting pressure on this Arsenal defence now.
Yes, they're turning the screws, but really Arsenal can thank Saliba and Gabriel for getting the balls out every single time City put the ball into the box. They're literally on point, and that's been crucial for them all all game. Ben White on this side has also been tremendous to this afternoon.
Well, Martinelli is preparing as there's action on the Arsenal bench. And here picking up is Declan Rice. Declan Rice now coming forward. Keeps possession to Odegaard. Odegaard tried to lift the ball into the penalty area, looking for Trossard again. It was cleared away, but only as far as Ben White. And now City try to get the ball again as Arsenal struggle again to maintain possession. And De Bruyne is away down the left-hand side now. And Haaland's in the middle. Arsenal have to be careful here. The ball comes across to Doku. Doku inside the penalty area now. Doku with a shot, but it is a really, really poor finish by Jeremy Doku standards for sure. We have a comment in the comment section, and it's from Shukri Yusuf. And he says 2 of them fat. CK. It's so the cross over the bar by Doku. And it is a goal kick, but we're going to see the change now. It's going to be Bukayo Saka who's going to come off. Now this is interesting, Luke. Does that mean Martinelli is going to go down the down the right-hand side, or are you going to see Kai Havertz switching out to that role? Looks like Saka's injured as well, by the way. That could be the reason for this.
I think Saka's probably pushed himself too far with this one. But I'd say probably Havertz comes onto this side and Martinelli goes through the middle. You want some physicality through there to battle with the Diaz and Ake. Not Ake. Diaz and Akanji.
Well, it's a goal kick, and it's going to be taken by David Raya. As Mike says, Saka hasn't been himself today, so so doesn't surprise me. And the referee is going to book David Raya, I think now. Indeed, he is, for time wasting. So David Raya goes into Anthony Taylor's notebook.
Imagine
on
that.
78. Yeah. 12 minutes to go, and we are still at 0-0. You have to say, Luke, possibly next goal may be the winner.
Yeah, well, you never know with 12 minutes in football. It can swing one way and then the other, so probably a bit too soon to say that. But imagine a referee booking somebody for time wasting.
At the moment, William Saliba's gone down after a clash with Haaland. He's back on his feet now, and we are going to get a free kick to Arsenal, which is taken quickly by Thomas Partey, and he's played it long to Martinelli, who appears to be playing down the right-hand side. Martinelli now just pulls the ball back to Saliba. Saliba back to Partey. Partey trying to get Martinelli on his way, but Gvardiol there, nipping in his Odegaard. Good play by him. Martin Odegaard now pulls the ball back to Martinelli. Martinelli with a shot, but it's blocked by Rodri. And still, it is 0-0. And here is Declan Rice. Rice tries to get the cross in. It's a poor one. It's blocked by Akanji, but it's an Arsenal corner. And we have 11 minutes to go here. And let's see if Arsenal can break the deadlock. And it's going to be taken by Declan Rice down the left-hand side. City loading up their own penalty area. In there is Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Havertz, Saliba, Trossard on the edge there is Odegaard and Martinelli. It's swung in and it's headed out by Manuel Akanji, right back to Declan Rice. He swings it in, pull across. It's won back by, it's headed out there by Grealish, and it's attempted shot by Partey, but Arsenal maintain possession just about. Now they've given up the ball, and it's picked up by De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries to play a long ball and get Doku off on his way, but that's good work by Odegaard. And Thomas Partey now just drops the ball back to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu gives the ball to Declan Rice. Thomas Partey gives the ball now back to William Saliba. Arsenal trying to get something, organise something. They've had no shots really in the second half, and there's Odegaard, and that is a really disappointing ball by his standards. Kai Havertz tries to win the ball back, but City can now come forward, and that is a poor challenge on Rodri by Odegaard. And once again, City surrounding the referee, and it's high time that Anthony Taylor booked some of these City players for doing this, Luke. Like, it's been all the way through the game from minute one.
To be honest, I think Anthony Taylor's taking the right approach, just not playing into it. He's not booking them. He's not giving them an opportunity to play into the hands. He's just basically ignoring it. And to be honest, I think that's also fair. Another point on Odegaard. He's not looked himself today.
Here's Haaland. Haaland just inside the penalty area. Drop back to Grealish. Grealish cuts inside on the left-hand side. Is he going to get the crossing? Grealish, he does. To the back post to Doku, who fails to bring that down. I think he was caught between bringing that down, Luke, and getting the shot away.
Yeah, that had to be first time, and you had to be confident at that back post with the way it was coming in to do anything with that. Hesitated, and instead of hitting it straight towards the other side, the far post, he basically tries to go near post and just gets it all wrong.
Well, I'm going to ask you for your player of the match in about 7 minutes' time. So when you've made up your mind, just pop it in the private chat, please, Luke, and I'll get it all set up for when you're ready to announce that. Pretty tough choice today, to be fair. Gavardio just knocks the ball forward to Haaland, and it's won back by Declan Rice. And it's played forward now, looking for Kai Havertz, but again, the ball is too long and goes through to the goalkeeper, Stefan Ortega, who releases it quickly to Manuel Akanji. Akanji holds up the ball now, and he gives the ball to Rodri, and Rodri plays the ball long. Chasing this one now is Doku, but cutting across well to make the challenges. Tomiyasu, I think he was trying to get that ball out of play for a throw-in. In the end, he concedes a corner. Manchester City have a corner down that right-hand side. Mike says, I'll take one right now as long as it's in the City net. Well, we'll wait and see whether that happens. I think, honestly, right now, I think as tight as this game is, I think one would be enough. But the corner is going to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne. And he's going to outswing this one, is De Bruyne. And the head is by Gavardio, but that's Haaland trying to get on the end of it. And he just he wasn't able to get there, Haaland. But had he been able to get there, as tight as an angle that would be for a normal human being, if Haaland may have got the shot away there, that would have been 1-0. You have to say, for Haaland, that's a half chance, isn't it?
That's more than a half chance for Haaland. I think he basically just ran straight past it. Like the ball was the other side of him, and it was probably just about a bit too far behind him there.
Well, it's going to be a goal kick for Arsenal. David Raya clears the ball downfield. Up challenging that is Kai Havertz. He flicks the ball on, but Manuel Akanji just heads the ball back to the goalkeeper. And that's pretty much what we've seen for Arsenal throughout the game. These goal kicks by David Raya are just being won all day long by the City backline, Luke.
Yeah, well, there's nobody with any kind of height up there, so playing it long just doesn't actually make much sense.
And William Saliba plays it to Gabriel. Gabriel, just inside his own half, plays it to Declan Rice, who gives the ball down the left-hand side here. And it's Leandro Trossard. He pulls it back to Declan Rice. Rice gives the ball back to Gabriel. Gabriel to Thomas Partey. And he tried to find Tomiyasu, but he was unable to control it. The ball just rolls out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester City. And it's Rico Lewis who is going to take the throw-in, as we have 5 minutes remaining. And there is Mikel Arteta. I'm pretty sure push comes to shove, he would take a point today. As now the ball is played forward now to Josko Gavardio. Gavardio coming forward now. Up there is Martinelli, and the ball by Gavardio was a poor one as well. It's run back by Declan Rice. And here is Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey gives the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard looking to set off Trossard on his way. He's got Martinelli in the middle of Trossard. Trossard cutting inside now, gets a shot away. It's a good save by Ortega, and it drops comfortably for Jack Grealish, and he gives the ball to Bernardo Silva, who with an outside of the boot plays a beautiful pass to Rodri, and Rodri sets Doku on his way as City now looking to counter Arsenal. Here is Jeremy Doku, cuts inside to the middle, he's thinking about the shot. Doku gives the ball to De Bruyne. De Bruyne, corner of the penalty area, right hand side, swings it in, and Saliba wins that header. And down there, under pressure, there is Bernardo Silva, and he's dispossessed. And is there a free kick there? Surely there's a free kick there. No, the referee says no. Ruben Diaz gives the ball to Bernardo Silva and back to Grealish. Now gives the ball to De Bruyne again. De Bruyne back to Grealish. And Luke, if I can get you to put your player of the match choice in the chat for me so I can just update it. And it's lifted in there. Oh, beautiful ball by Rodri to Bernardo Silva. Well, he had more time when he realised he tried to cross the ball in. And it was knocked out of play behind for a corner. So that was very, very close. And the cross is going to come in here. And it's going to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne. It's swung in and headed out, but there seems to have been some sort of confusion. And it looks like that is going to be taken again. It's going to be swung in one more time here, I think. This time De Bruyne goes short, gives it to Jack Grealish. De Bruyne swings the ball towards the back post, looking for Haaland. Haaland goes down, perhaps a clash of heads there, and the referee stops play immediately. And Haaland, well, he looked in a lot of discomfort there from that. Nasty little collision there. And yes, Trossard is, I just wonder there, just how bad that knock is to Haaland, Luke.
Well, I think it was just a collision, to be honest. I don't think there was too much in it. With that shot, I think Trossard should have pulled that across to Martinelli instead of taking it himself, because Martinelli was in a glorious position in front of goal there.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, wasn't it? Perhaps the early pass would have stepped Martinelli in. Maybe he didn't see him, maybe Martinelli didn't call for it, but we're inside 90 seconds now to go at the Etihad Stadium. It is still Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. And at the next stoppage of play, Luke, I'll get you to name your player of the match. So as it stands right now, Liverpool 2 points clear of Arsenal at the top of the table. And there is 9 games to go in the Premier League season as Haaland is still down. But Luke, with Haaland still down, why don't you give us your player of the match?
Yes, I've elected for William Saliba today for the fact that he's headed everything away.
Sorry, carry on, I'm sorry.
But he's headed the balls away that City have put in. There's a close run thing between him and Gabriel, but I just went for Saliba because he cleared the most recent one away.
Right, well, then our player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services, goes to Arsenal's number 2, William Saliba. And just waiting for Haaland to get up. He clashed with William Saliba there, our player of the match. And Haaland is on his feet again. We did see Alvarez looking like he was going to come on, but it looks like Haaland is in fact going to be okay. We have 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this game. And Mike says Ben White deserves a mention too, though. He's been excellent today. I agree, Ben White has been brilliant today. Here's Manuel Akanji, plays the ball forward, looking for Jack Grealish, who flicks it on, and it's cleared away by Declan Rice. Here's Martinelli. He loses the ball to Manuel Akanji, who gives it back to Stefan Ortega. Ortega clears the ball to Gvardiol, under pressure from Kai Havertz. He turns Havertz and drops the ball back to Ruben Diaz. We are almost done here, folks. We got 5 minutes of stoppage time, but it's still 0-0. As it stands, Mike has cursed us with a 0-0 scoreline, but we'll see. Here's Rico Lewis. Lewis gives the ball there to Rodri. Rodri picking the ball up in the middle of the park, the park there, plays the ball long over to the left to Grealish. It's a super ball to Jack Grealish. Grealish trying to get the cross into the back post. Haaland goes down. There's no way that was a penalty. And it's headed out and only as far as Manuel Akanji. Akanji gives the ball to Doku again. The speedy winger, Doku, trying to just get the better of Tomiyasu. Doku's in the penalty area now. They've pulled across, but a really good challenge by Gabriel there, stopping that ball from getting across from Jeremy Doku. As he switched into speed mode there, we looked at that. Haaland goes down very easily. There was perhaps a little bit of shirt pulling, but Haaland goes down very easily, and Gabriel is letting him know about it. Don't do that again. Stop diving and stop cheating. And all sorts of other language that can't be mentioned on air right now. The corner is going to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is out swinging this one. And the header is back to Haaland, and it'll just go through harmlessly to David Raya. And David Raya is going to just clear this ball downfield now. He's on a yellow card. He needs to be careful. He wants to clear that ball now. David Raya clears the ball downfield and is looking for Havertz, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. It's taken quickly by Rico Lewis, who's given it to Manuel Akanji. We've had 2 minutes of stoppage time here at the Etihad. It is still Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0, and Ben White trying to dispossess Grealish there, and the referee has given a free kick to Manchester City. And Josko Gvardiol takes it and gives it to Ruben Diaz. Diaz goes long looking for Jeremy Doku. It's a great pass to Jeremy Doku. Doku now trying to get into the penalty area down that right hand side. Doku has got Trossard and Tomiyasu. He plays the ball across there to De Bruyne, who got the cross in, but it's headed out. And now Declan Rice plays the ball into Trossard. Trossard drops the ball back to Gabriel, who tries to play the ball long, but that'll comfortably be gobbled up by Manuel Akanji, who drops it back to Ortega. Stefan Ortega looking to clear the ball downfield now, as we are really in the last sort of couple of minutes now. Odegaard goes into the back of Bernardo Silva, and it's going to be a free kick taken quickly. And here is Manuel Akanji for Manchester City, just inside his own half of the field. He gives the ball to Josko Gvardiol. Gvardiol holds the ball up and gives the ball to Rico Lewis. Lewis has got options left and right. He's got Jack Grealish alongside him. He decides to play the ball to Ruben Diaz, who plays it across to Rodri. City making one last attempt. Is this the last roll of the dice for Manchester City? We've got 1 minute of injury time left. But Tomiyasu wins the ball off Jeremy Doku. And Tomiyasu now goes down under the challenge and wins the free kick. Manuel Akanji can't believe it. And it's taken quickly to Thomas Partey. Partey has options left and right in front of him. And it's given to Gabriel, who plays the ball forward. It's flicked on, but really only goes through to Rico Lewis, who gives the ball to Manuel Akanji. Akanji gives the ball here to Ruben Diaz again. And Manchester City now can build up again from the back. It's Bernardo Silva to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne to Grealish. Grealish's pass is a poor one, only finds Thomas Partey. Arsenal can break out now if they hurry. It's Declan Rice. Declan Rice plays the ball long, looking for Martinelli. Is Martinelli onside here? He gets challenged by Gvardiol. Is that going to be a free kick? I don't believe so. I think that there's nothing really in that one that would warrant a free kick. As we hit the 5 minutes of stoppage time, as this is all but done here, and it's looking like a hard-fought point for both teams, as here is Bernardo Silva. Silva over the halfway line now. Bernardo Silva storming forward. It's Gvardiol. Gvardiol back to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is almost dispossessed there by Odegaard, but coming up and helping him is Rodri. Rodri, edge of the penalty area, right-hand side. He lifts the ball into the penalty area, and it goes through to the goalkeeper. And that is it. It is full-time at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0, in a game of few chances and poor passing in the second third of the field. Both teams really not creating enough. Luke, let's have your full-time assessment, please.
Yeah, I think both sides probably had enough in there to keep the ball out, obviously, with a 0-0. Arsenal were very impressive with their shape today, made it very difficult for Man City to break them down. the passing was slow from Man City. They thought they could just go up the gear and just destroy Arsenal, but it didn't happen that way. Saliba and Gabriel marshalled that box immensely. Ben White was more playing as a third centre-back with the wing-backs, with Saka more playing as a wing-back on that side for the majority of the game. I think, to be fair, Jesus had chances, Haaland also had chances, but they didn't take them today. So, yeah, I think both sides are probably disappointed that they couldn't get the win over the other side. They'd probably take the point reluctantly, but again, wasn't the best spectacle in terms of chances. Both sides battled it out, and basically 0-0 was probably a fair reflection. Mike, you cursed it.
Well, we are going to go back to Mike now. Mike, can you give me your overall assessment on how you think Arsenal played?
Yeah, first of all, apologies for the curse and apologies for the lack of goals. But from an Arsenal point of view, I think we'll take that. I think, Manchester City are a real threat. They've got a lot of quality about them with the likes of Haaland and De Bruyne and Silva and Foden and Grealish and Doku and the like off the bench as well. And we were colossal at the back, to be honest. Saliba excellent, Gabriel excellent, Ben White excellent, and I just thought we dealt with Manchester City very well, and they didn't really have a lot of chances. We didn't have that many ourselves either, but going to the Etihad and getting a point at this stage of the season, not really a bad result.
Do you think Arsenal could have done better in the final third of the field, where they was looking at creating chances? Because I felt at times that Arsenal are able to break down the City defence. Leandro Trossard with the option to play in Martinelli there, Mike. Do you think Arsenal could have been more creative in that final third?
Yes, I do think so. I do think we lacked a bit of creativity in the final third. I thought Saka, Odegaard, a bit off their game today, Havertz as well. But, I think that's credit to the Manchester City backline as well and what they were able to do, without some key players of the likes of Kyle Walker and John Stones who weren't available for them. And, obviously John Stones was on the bench but didn't get on. And, that's a credit to Manchester City as well. Obviously, they lost Ake in the first half. And even after that, they were able to deal with everything that we threw at them. Kind of quite comfortably on their own as well. I think it's a good day for the defenders of both teams. And interestingly as well, this is a stat that I've just found out. It's been over 50 games since Man City have failed to score at home. So that's what it means to the Arsenal fans who have kept that to 0-0 today.
Well, defensively, Arsenal have been brilliant all season. They're, in my opinion, the best defence in the league. What does this mean now for Arsenal's championship ambitions?
It's going to be an interesting end to the season. It was always going to be anyway, and I think that Arsenal and Man City are both still in the mix with that result. Obviously, it's advantage Liverpool now with them winning earlier on, but we've got Luton on Wednesday, so if we can get a win there, then we'll jump back above Liverpool again, who don't play until the Thursday. So then if we can do what we need to do, then obviously, they've got Sheffield United, but pressure's back on Liverpool again if we can beat Luton in the week.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Mike, for your punditry today. Really, really appreciate it. Just before we end today, I'm going to go through the full-time scores. Liverpool 2, Brighton 1 from earlier on today. Of course, the 0-0 draw here means that Liverpool are 2 points clear at the top of the Premier League tonight. In Ligue 1, we have Lorient 0, Brest 1, Clermont 0, Toulouse 3, Le Havre 0, Montpellier 2, Nice 1, Nantes 2, Strasbourg 2, Rennes 1, and at 7:45 UK time, 8:45 Central European time, Marseille will take on Paris Saint-Germain. And in the German Bundesliga today, Augsburg 1, Köln 1. And just about wrapping things up in Stuttgart, it is Stuttgart 2, Heidenheim 3. And this evening at 6:30 p.m, just about to kick off here in just a few moments' time, is Bochum against the bottom club Darmstadt. In La Liga, today, Celta Vigo 0, Rayo Vallecano 0, Girona 3, Girona 3, Betty 2, Alves 0, Real Sociedad 0. That's a half-time score at 8 p.m. this evening UK time, 9 p.m. Central European. Real Madrid will take on Athletic Bilbao. So I want to thank Mike for his punditry today. I also want to thank Luke for his brilliant co-com today. And I want to thank you, most of all, the listeners. Thank you so much for joining us today, for spending your Easter Sunday afternoon listening to us. We really greatly appreciate it. And although it finished 0-0, we hope you enjoyed the show. And please feel free to like and subscribe. And we'll be back again very, very soon. Keep an eye on the Commentary Hub group chat for the Commentary Hub Twitter account for the latest games. And hopefully we're looking to bring you Arsenal and Luton during the week. But in the meantime, thanks very much for joining us. Happy Easter and bye for now.